Today we are discussing this because there are two issues that arise. One is, when is the case to be listed? So you would have a situation where somebody, a journalist, wants bail. The case is listed the same day, maybe in the evening. Somebody has been granted bail. The prosecution says, no, the grant of bail by the High Court is wrong. So a special bench sits on a Saturday and stays that order, which is very, very unusual. But anyway, stays that order so that this person cannot come out of jail. I am referring to the cases of Arnab Goswami and Sai Baba. Why should that happen? So the timing of the listing of the case is very, very important in some instances. We've had issues pertaining to demonetization, listed I think after about 4 or 5 years. We've had issues relating to the electoral bonds, listed after 5 years. Now it's whatever decision has come. I don't know how effective it will be in terms of stopping this process. But in spite of directions given by the Supreme Court to say that this is an important case, it should be heard early, we are not granting any interim relief, the matter doesn't get listed for several years. You've had the problem of Article 370 of the Constitution not being listed for several years. You've had one of the cases that has been mentioned is that of Umar Khalid asking for bail, not listed for a long time, I think more than 2 years or so. 13 adjournments. Ultimately, the lawyer said, we want to withdraw the case. Why? Because as Justice Kurian Joseph mentioned, they knew what the result is going to be. And they knew what the result is going to be because it was apparently listed before a particular bench. And they knew what the fate of that case is going to be. So these are issues, which are live and which are affecting the quality of justice. And that is why there is this perception going around that, listen, there is something wrong. Somebody has the power to do something. Why is that power not being exercised in a fair manner, in a reasonable manner, and in a just manner? These are questions that arise. One is, like I mentioned, about the timing of the listing. When should it be listed? The other very serious problem is, where should it be listed? Now, I'm talking, I go back now to 2018. Why should the cases be listed before a particular bench, overlooking a large number of other benches? Is there any particular reason for doing that? And if there is a reason, shouldn't people know about it? All right. Is that power being exercised in a fair manner? Is it being exercised in a reasonable manner? Today, again, the perception is, and as I had adverted to in the case of Umar Khalid, today again the perception is that, well, if a case goes before a particular bench, and some of the judges have retired, by the way, I'm not talking only about judges who are here, this is going to be the result. And then the attempt of the lawyer also is to try and delay the listing of the case, because the lawyer knows that this is going to be the result. We've had instances where, again, matters of liberty, which was also adverted to, Article 21 of the Constitution, you know exactly that this is what is going to happen in that case. The possibility of getting bail is distant, number one. Number two, while denying bail, some observations may be made by the court in the judgment which will make it difficult for persons similarly placed to get bail in the future. You've had instances of that under the UAPA, where it is almost impossible now to get bail. You've had instances of that under the PMLA, where also it is virtually impossible to get bail. This is quite different from the timing of the listing. This is again, the result of a decision rendered by particular benches. So these are two, very, very important areas where I think we must discuss and see how to get over them. And to make sure that, well, whenever a case is filed, it should be listed as soon as possible. I'm told today, maybe the lawyers on this panel will be able to say that, mentioning of cases has now stopped. Now that is something that was a regular feature. There would be complaints. I remember the complaints were placed before me, where a lawyer would say that, this case was shown in the weekly list, it has suddenly disappeared from the weekly list. Can you just ensure that it is listed? And I would tell my court master, find out what is the problem and have the case listed. But this frequency of errors, so to speak, I don't know whether they're errors or not, but this frequency of errors has increased. And that is why there is this perception going around that there is something amiss.